Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a woman and I want to confess to you that I bewitched my own daughter. My daughter, she was a very prayerful person and I was only able to bewitch her after 10 years. We had been trying and testing my daughter each and every night, but I would fail to get to her because of the covering that she had of the grace of God. But one day when she decided to cheat on her husband, that was when she opened up the door to her soul and we were able to get into her life, and then we started to bewitch her. And I want to confess that I killed and I ate the flesh of my own daughter. You can call me my Ruvimbo. Ruvimbo was my daughter. I was born and I was raised in Marondera. My story, it depends with the mood that I'll be having on that day. If I am under the possession of the demon, which is the spirit of witchcraft, then I am proud of what I did and I am proud to give you this testimony as a witch. But as a mother, I am not proud to share with you this story that I'm going to be sharing with you, but I just want to let you know that these are the things that happen in the spiritual realm, and you have to know that people like us, we do not rest. It can take us the whole of our lifetime, but when you sleep, we will be there to make sure that you will never be able to rise up again like we did to my daughter. We made sure that she will never survive from the mistake that she did to commit adultery, yet she was a married woman. That is how I was able to get into her life. My story, it began at a certain farm in Marondera where my parents were working. My mom and my dad, they both worked on that farm. It then happened that my father, him as the person that had the responsibilities of hiring people at that farm, he wanted to hire his own brother-in-law, who was my mother's little brother. And for my father to be able to hire my uncle, there was no space. He went and he spoke with a white man who was the owner of that farm. My parents, they were working at a farm that was called Ben Mapranga in Marondera. And when my father went to speak with his boss, and the boss then said, you want me to hire someone new, but I do not have space right now. I am full, maybe next time. So my mother and my father plotted against this other old man who was not from our country. They wanted him to get fired so that they can create space for my uncle, and they started to fight with that old man. So this man, he was more like a traditional healer. He then cursed my parents and he cursed me so that I can become a witch. He left some marks on my body, and these marks, they are like curses. Wherever you go to, those marks on your body, they will tell the witches that will be in that area where you will be staying that here is someone that you can use at night. So growing up, I was being used by different witches. I finally became a witch through this other woman and I joined their club. Later on in life, I then got married to my husband, who was a school teacher. We met, he was already dating another woman, and I knew that he was dating another woman, and I had to have that woman killed so that I can be the main girlfriend. We then moved in together with my late husband, and when we were staying together, I realized that I was pregnant. From the day when I fell pregnant, I knew that this child that I was carrying in my womb, I was supposed to sacrifice that child, because this was the covenant that I had done in order for me to be married to my husband. When I had my first daughter, Rovimbo, when she was born, I knew that I would never be able to touch her because the Holy Spirit was covering her. Most of the people, they do not know this. If you do not have your spiritual eyes wide open, you will never know that someone that has the Holy Spirit covering them in their life, they always have this little flame that will be dancing on their forehead at all the times. And that little flame, when you see someone like that, you will never be able to touch that person if you are a witch. And the Holy Spirit, the way that the Holy Spirit acts, it is more like what the spirit of your ancestors or any demon acts. When the Holy Spirit comes to be in your life, he also possesses you the same way that you are possessed by the demon, the same way that a person is possessed by the spirit of the ancestor. When the Holy Spirit comes into your life, he also possesses your body. A demon, when a demon has possessed a person, or when your ancestor is possessing your body, they sit on your shoulders, and the Holy Spirit as well come and he will sit on your shoulders. But as for the Holy Spirit, it is different, because your ancestor, when they descend upon you, they only sit upon your shoulders, but they do not enter into your heart. The Holy Spirit is the only spirit that can sit upon your shoulders as well as to enter into your heart, which means that your heart will be possessed by the Holy Spirit as well as your shoulders. The Holy Spirit would be resting upon your shoulders. So this was what was happening to my daughter. I would see that the Holy Spirit is resting upon her shoulders as well as sitting in her heart, and I was unable to touch my daughter. When my daughter was still very young, from the moment that she was born, I would wake up in the middle of the night, and then I would be possessed by the spirit of witchcraft. So when the spirit of witchcraft has possessed me, I change and I can get out of my own body, and I can leave my body sleeping in bed, and then I can walk around in the spiritual realm, and I can go and I can be with my friends, and we can go ahead with our business. So the moment that I will start to get outside of my physical body, my daughter would wake up and she would watch me as I will be transforming and becoming something that is like a creature of the night. When she was like a toddler and her being able to speak, she would tell her father everything that she used to see. She would be like, do you know that mom at night she becomes two people? So it used to confuse her, because she used to sleep in the middle. I would be on the other side and her father would be on the other side. When she would wake up, when I would be changing to be in the spirit realm, my daughter will get confused, because she would see me sleeping right next to her, and then she would see me standing close to the bed. So this used to confuse him, and then she will tell her father that mom last night she became two people. So my husband did not even understand this, because his spiritual eyes, they were closed. He was like a blind man in the spiritual realm. My daughter, she was someone that was very lucky, and she loved the Lord. She always read her Bible. She used to get these little blue New Testament Bibles that she used to get at school. Even if I would take that little Bible and hide it, the next day she will come back home and she will say that there is someone at school that has given her a new Bible. When I tried to burn the Bible, she went and she spoke with this other woman in our neighborhood who came and asked me what kind of a mother I was who could burn a Bible whilst her daughter was watching. So I became embarrassed. I did not want people to know that this was what I was doing. So my daughter growing up, we tried everything. We tried to use her for rituals, but I was unable to touch her, yet she was my own daughter. And this made me to hate my daughter even more, and I did not even like her at all because of what used to happen. If my daughter would touch me, I would feel so much heat, so much that I would feel like I am about to collapse. So that little flame that used to dance on her forehead, this will send the heat through her body into my body, making me to feel like I am burning in hell. So I was afraid of my own daughter. At night, we used to have countless meetings trying to find a way so that we can bewitch my daughter, because of the way that I hated her, but I was unable to bewitch my daughter. It then happened that my daughter, when she was all grown up, that was when she got married to her husband. Her husband was a good man. He was someone that had money, and they were living a very good and a comfortable life. Through her husband, I was able to bewitch my own daughter, and this is how I managed to bewitch my daughter. Her husband was someone that was a womanizer. He loved women quite a lot, and each and every time when my daughter would come to me and tell me that her husband was cheating on her, that was when I started to plant the seed so that she can have doubts in the Lord. Most of you do not even know that there is a seed that might have been planted into your life by the person that is bewitching you, and that which would have planted that seed a very long time ago. All that the person that would be bewitching you will have to do is to keep on watering that seed so that the seed can grow, and then you can say that God does not exist, God is not for me. That is what I did with my daughter. I planted that seed from the day that she came and she told me that she was facing so much difficulties in her life, and she was unable to stop her husband from ever cheating on her again, and he had countless girlfriends, and I would laugh at him with this evil demonic laughter. I would say, see, you pray, you say that you pray, and still look at you, my daughter, you are suffering. You think that you serve God, but God is mocking you. Look at how your husband has been cheating and humiliating you. So my daughter would say that she will never stop worshiping the Lord, but I had already planted the seed of doubt in her heart. As time went on, I discovered whom my son-in-law was sleeping with, and then me and my friends, we were able to go to that woman's house at night, and we were able to enter into her home. We then left a snake. So this snake that I left inside of her home, she did not even know that there was a snake that was staying in her ceiling with him. And at night, whenever my son-in-law would be with her, when they would be making love, that snake will get off from the ceiling, and then this snake would also sleep with her. And this snake of mine, it has a man's manhood that is as big as my smallest finger. It is like a man's manhood, and when it sleeps with a woman, it can leave some poison inside the womb of that woman. So any man that will sleep with that woman will start to suffer from problems like your erectile dysfunction. You will never be able to function properly ever again. So this is what we wanted. My daughter, she stayed for 10 good years without having sexual intercourse with her husband, because whenever her husband would try to get on top of her, they could not make love because his manhood will never go erect. And because I was now connected to my son-in-law, the moment that he would start to touch my daughter's breast, I would even feel the sensation of his hands moving across my breast, as well as playing with my nipples, even my thighs. Any way he would be touching my daughter, I would be the one that will be enjoying. Like this charm, it is more like that charm that we call mubobobo in Shona. It is a charm whereby a woman or a man can sleep with anyone that they want in the spiritual realm, more like sex magic. But this is bit different, because this charm, the way that it works, if you are using that charm on any woman that you love, when that woman is making love to her husband or to her boyfriend, you would be the one that would be enjoying everything that the man that would be sleeping with her would be doing. You would be feeling that, and when she is touching her husband, she would be touching you in the spiritual realm. The same way, if it is a man and you are a woman, that is what I was doing with my son-in-law. If he would be sleeping with any woman, I would be the one that would be enjoying feeling him, making love to him. So this made him to be very weak in bed because of the poison that he used to collect from that woman's womb. So my daughter, she survived for 10 years without ever sleeping with a man. It then happened that it got too much, and then there was someone that started to propose love to my daughter the day that she said yes to that man, because sexually she could not take it anymore. Her body was crying and craving for a man. When she said yes, we knew that she had said yes and she was going to enter into an adulterous relationship. We celebrated, me and my friends, in the middle of the night underneath a musasa tree where we were having our meeting. We knew that now we had trapped my daughter, and the grace of God, it was going to be lifted up from here, because when you start to enter into adulterous relationships, you might be someone that still has the Holy Spirit, but the Holy Spirit will start to remove himself from you because you are unclean. So my daughter, the day that she slept with a man that was not her husband, that was the same day that she signed her death certificate. We went and then we started to bewitch him, and one of my friends, who is also a witch, she asked me for the favor. She wanted to be the one that would choke my daughter to death because of what the Holy Spirit had done to her tokoloshi. There was a time when we had sent this other tokoloshi that belonged to that friend of mine, and when the tokoloshi went there to kill my daughter, that tokoloshi was burnt by the fire of the Holy Spirit. So my friend had a grudge against my daughter. Now that she did not have the protection of the Holy Spirit anymore, she was fair game, and I gave her that honor of slaughtering my daughter to be the one that would end my daughter's life. And my daughter, she started to get sick. You know, there is HIV, that is a natural disease, but then there is spiritual HIV that can be created in the spiritual realm. We created that disease and we infected my daughter. Not only that, my daughter, she was suffering from TB that was inside her bones, and the doctors could not cure her. She became weak. As if I was a loving mother, I went and I took my daughter and I started to stay with my daughter. And this is what I used to do before my daughter had passed away. She was really weak at that time. And when my daughter will say, "Mama, I want water," I would go to the kitchen laughing and I would fetch the water, but I would mix the water with charms that would further weaken her and make her to be more sick until she passed away. This is my own testimony. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. I did not even know that even witches, they do have testimonies. And our sister is saying that as a witch, she can wait until the day when you fall into sin. Then on that day they will strike you. She was giving an example, and she said that what they do is like, when they see that you have fallen down, they come wearing the boots, those army boots that are worn by soldiers, and they will step so hard on your throat and they will never let you go until you die, because they would have waited for that opportunity for a very long time. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. If you are a witch, you can come to my inbox and you can share with me your own side of the story.